BB welcome back for another episode of Nathan's Mailbag.
Jingle, jingle, jingle song.
Thank you, Curtis. Jumping straight in, guys, because we don't mess around on this podcast. We get straight into the details, no fluff. First question here is from Dan the man. Title of this email is Playing with High Intensity Without Destroying Your Mental. So we did talk about this on this week's Broken by Concept about, you said that your advice to me was have a higher goal, play with higher intensity. You said that your high intensity, wanting to beat those players, yep. You're a beast. You're shock
the dominating mindset.
And we talked about maybe that wasn't sustainable over long term.
That's correct.
So let's get into this question. Hey guys, love the podcast and I'm looking forward to another 100 episodes to come. My question is, how do you play with high intensity, really trying to win without getting too emotionally invested in extremely hard games? For example, I played a game where everyone fell extremely behind and there was many ridiculous basic mistakes from the team, making the game both frustrating and really hard to win. Then, right when we are about to come back after getting some shutdowns, my team surrendered 4-1 at 20 and I got really frustrated. It felt really difficult to continue the block, but it felt like maybe it would be easier to continue if I played with less intensity because maybe I wouldn't have cared as much and it wouldn't have hurt as much when the surrender vote went through. I've also heard some people say that surrendering can be good because it saves mental, and I feel like that idea is related to my struggle, but also confusing because I feel like trying really hard to win the entire time is part of what it means to play with high intensity, right? Appreciate any thoughts.
I'm going to tackle this in a different way.
Okay.
And I'm doing a bit of a throwback here to Jonathan
Brown.
So, first things first, we all care about the game. We are all, no matter what rank you are, we're all emotionally invested in the game.
No matter how much you say you hate the game as well.
No, and no matter how process oriented you are, we all want to win. Correct? We all want to win. We want to see that beautiful victory sign at the end of the game.
That's what we queue up for.
We want to get that LP. We want to climb. That's what we want to do, right? We can't deny that fact. Otherwise, we wouldn't be playing the game. And, I think that it's important to recognize that, you are always going to be, emotions are always going to be involved. You're always going to be emotional in some way, shape, or form. You care. It shows that you care about the game. I say, rather than lowering intensity to potentially lower the amount of emotions invested in the game, let's focus on recovery. And for example, the recent BBC episode, I spoke about that story about how I really wanted to beat a particular player in this game and I had that dominating mindset. Let's say in an alternate reality, I lost that game. I'm pissed, right? My solution isn't I should have cared less that game to protect my emotions. Boo-hoo. It's, no, how do I then recover after this game so that I can get back on the horse, get into another game and go again?
Yeah.
So what do we got? And this is where Jono, in our episode with Jono Brown, amazing episode. We definitely have to do a round 2 this year with Jono.
Yep.
Talking about recovery. Recovery. And what does that look like? For some, we know people that have kind of got out of the chair, done push-ups, going to another room, getting water, maybe taking 10 minutes to kind of, go to the other room, whatever, do what you need to do, then review the VOD, then come back into it. Maybe you do have to end that block early. I've seen people do that. I've done that myself. Sometimes you do have to get off the computer. You've had that insanely high intensity game and it just really bugged you. That's okay. As long as there's not a common trend. I say we develop a toolkit just like Daniel did as well in the previous BBC episode to I guess thrive in solo queue and recover. It can be note taking, it can be getting a mate to peer review it quickly, watching over someone play the exact same matchup, asking a question in the VOD question channel, talking to a friend on League, say, can you look at this? Whatever the hell it might be, let's figure it out. That's a better solution. Thoughts, Nathan?
Yeah, I had a problem with that. I feel like that's the way he wrote in it's defensive at the end of the day. He doesn't want to invest. It's sort of like it's sort of like a relationship, right? Like, let's say if you invest emotionally in a relationship, you are going to, you know, if that breaks up, you're going to get hurt, right? But then you could argue, well, like I didn't have all those great memories and all that sort of stuff, right? And then, you know, you like obviously over time, you know, the hurt is bad, but then you can look back at it and be like, that was a great time in my life.
It was a great time, whatever it might be.
I'll view it the same way.
It's like anything in life.
You got to give it your all.
You got to give your all, and then it hurts.
You can't half-ass. It's going to get hurt. Yeah.
It's the same with everything.
Yeah.
I watched a video from one of my biggest role models, Eric Bugenhagen, speaking about how one of the biggest turning points in his life was when he got injured.
And he would have gone hard to get injured, yes.
Yeah, and he got injured, but it gave him perspective on life, and it actually it forced him to get out of his comfort zone and try something different. He couldn't do what he was doing before, and then he shifted his whole perspective on life. Like sometimes, you know, yes, you're gonna get burnt, but that's life, right? You gotta kind of put the effort in and recover. Focus on recovery. It's not the end of the world just because you lose a tough game. You know, it can be hard in the moment to feel like, because it does feel like the end of the world, because we all feel as though the world revolves around us, right?
We're the most important thing. We're the center of the universe.
Yeah, we all feel. We're all the center of our
problems
own
universe. Are the biggest problems.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess it's easy to lose perspective in that sense, but you know, when you look back on things, I mean, even when, you know, I'm sure this guy, you look back on some of your past experiences in your journey. You've had very painful losses, but you recovered. You had to do what you need to do. Now, I do want to be careful here, as per usual. We have our warning signs, whatever.
Warning.
You got to be careful with kind of ending blocks early or taking extended breaks from the game. I've had people in the MLA that get into a toxic habit of having a rough 3 block and then taking a week off. Having a rough 3 block, coming back, building it up like this. The 3 block is the biggest event in the world, and then they have a shitty 3 block. Another week off, guys. I just can't handle it. It's just too much for me. And like get into this routine of like building up this 3 block to be this ginormous event. Everyone's a party. Everyone come by, spectate. There's gonna be fireworks, and it's just this huge deflationary experience. You know,
that comes down to making it your like this is your identity. This is it. Like I'm playing 3 games. Like let's say Daniel, again going back from we're referencing the last BBC episode a lot about that he played 24 games a week. Like. Was that a big deal, the 24 games? That's just what he did.
That's what he did.
And he's been doing that for obviously he was doing 18 games before. He was doing 18 games before for months, years, right? I mean, the year when he's been in MLA a long time, right? So it's just another day for him.
He went backwards. He got worse over the period of like 6 months. He went backwards. Divisions, multiple, So, yeah. So that's why I think, man, you got to work on what gets you back in the game. What gets you back on the horse. Back on the Rift. What gets you refreshed? Try things. Try shit.
I like it.
Go back to that episode with Jonathan Brown. I'm sure there's some gems in there somewhere. So yeah, that's my thoughts anyway.
All right, flying on. Next question, literally we'll just tie onto this, is from Design. I don't think that's his actual name, but that's the title of the email. So the title is The Most Optimal Break.
The most optimal break.
Hey, Curtis and Nathan, I've recently lost 2 promos to get to plat the past week, and I'm slowly tilting, losing my mind, trying to just get back to promos. I feel like I need a break from the game for a couple of weeks. Do you think it would be better to not consume any league content for a bit, or watch other people play educational videos to learn during my break?
It's so interesting, isn't it? When you kind of like read it out and you like really visualize this situation, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, I do understand. Again, this ties into the emotional investment. It's like a build up over time. It's
Mr. Design's probably busted his balls getting to these, these promos.
That's right. He's worked his ass off. He's done all this stuff, and then it's really wearing him down. Look, again, at least for me, again, everyone's different. I can only speak in my own experiences here. There is no difference between like a 2-day break and a 7-day break. Like for me, I don't feel any more or less refreshed from 2 days versus any more insert X days. It doesn't matter to me. 1 or 2 days for me is more than enough to feel completely refreshed in League. I guarantee you'd be surprised at how great even a single day or 2 days off can be from the game. You don't need to take multiple weeks off from the game. If you're taking multiple weeks, you're going so far backwards. It's going to take you, again, weeks to get back to where you're at, because you're going to have to redevelop that muscle memory. You lost touch with the game.
2 patches have come through at that time.
Yeah, it can be brutal. So I would avoid that at all costs personally, unless, maybe there's some other things going on and there's some other things in real life. I mean, we can only comment on what we've been given here. Sometimes people that are massively addicted or stuff like that, maybe this guy's spamming games and he's completely cooked his process. Yeah, they might need a full week refresh or something like that. But for the majority of people, they need a weekend off. That's it. 2 days, that's it. And you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah, it'd be great to know if Design's actually done that. Has he actually tried taking... It's always interesting that humans as default, we like to take drastic measures, don't we? It's like
0 to 100.
There could be a case where he's like never really taken a proper 1-2 day break, and he's like, okay, I tried really hard for months. Bam, let's should I just take the 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, rather than let me just take a day off. And let's not watch any YouTube content for a day.
Yeah.
Let me not think about let's not go on Discord for a weekend. Like what happens, right? Rather than going 0 to 100, multiple weeks off.
It's so drastic.
It's very, very drastic. Yeah.
And it's not good. I don't think it's good to go drastic in
anything. Yeah.
I mean, people talk about going cold turkey on certain things. That's
a very
different.
That's
That's if you want to completely cut it out from your life type stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's when you're really trying to cut it out.
He wants to come back, right? Yeah. So it's, he's obviously going to keep having the crap.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Next one here is from Acra. Title's email is just frustration. A very common word used in the League of Legends community and with our coaching clients. And it's normal. Hello, Curtis and Nathan. I've been listening to the podcast since start of season 12 and enjoying ever since. I joined the Mid Lane Academy about 2 months ago, but had to leave after 1 month due to personal issues. Aside the personal issue, even though I was really motivated before, and while being in the Mid Lane Academy, there was one major thing stopping my process, my climb, and my personal growth: the frustration. I just can't handle the frustration knowing or thinking that I'm going to lose this game. And after that, the first thought in my head is, fuck, I'm going to lose LP as well as losing this game. So it's two things screwing up my mental. I know I shouldn't be focused on LP and I enjoy the journey, but I give myself the insane pressure. I also get banter for being low elo from my friends. Platinum 1, failing D4 promos 5 times. I don't care tanking the banter, but it feels like I'm on a clock to improve, if that makes sense. Like now or never, which also results in me being extremely frustrated, losing and going into the next game. Tilted off that loss, which is just a paradox. Do you guys have any additional advice you could give me or send me to some episode where you talk about this exact topic? Yep. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, we have mentioned, I mean, this is all just toxic expectations. Yeah. I believe we do have an episode, I think, titled Toxic Expectations.
Type in broken by concept toxic expectations for sure.
But to be really quick about this, I mean, man, you've really jacked yourself up here. You've made every game 5 of Worlds, SKT, RNG, game 5. This is it, right? It's do or die for you. This is what every game is. That's going to take an emotional toll on you. It's going to affect your mentality. It's going to affect your relationship with the game.
Not in the improvement mindset at all. Not embracing our current level of skill.
This is very similar to what I said in the last BBC episode about people with that short-term mindset rather than the long-term. Whenever you feel as though you need to immediately get results now, it's just not going to go well. I haven't seen it go well. As long as you know
that, I mean, how many times have you? I mean, I think it's important that everyone's going to make.
Let's just use a very simple analogy, okay? Let's just cut the crap here, right? Let's talk basketball for a second. Let's say you're on the free throw line, and you're chilling by yourself on a Thursday evening, and you're just chilling, listening to music. You got your headphones on, and you're just shooting hoops, and you're in flow state. You're just chilling. Just going boom, sinking them. And then someone comes up to you and says, hey man, if you actually get 15 in a row, we'll give you $1 million. Right? Or if you don't get 15 in a row on this next shot, we're gonna record this, we're gonna put this on YouTube, we're gonna just embarrass you. Whatever ridiculous bullshit story.
Some stakes, high stakes.
What's gonna happen? what's going to happen to that person? Unless that person's at a professional, what's going to happen? They're going to crumble, right? The pressure's too much. They're nervous. They're overthinking. They think, oh my God, what if? What if that? What if? Notice how their mind is all future. It's all in the future, isn't it? Right? This is a Curtis classic. What's in the future? What's in the future? What's in the future? This, that. You're visualizing all the alternate realities, what could be happening in the future. My friend's going to abuse me. I'm going to get memed on. I'm going to lose that amount of LP. That's that amount of games. So I now I've wasted this amount of time. It's always this. It's like you're like adding it up. You're like, it's this mental baggage. You're not going to perform like that. It's the opposite of flow state. It's the opposite of being present in the moment. Right? So, like, at the end of the day, man, you're not a professional. You're not equipped with the toolkit or the skill set to be able to be put under the pump and to be told to execute. You're not at that level yet. So let's just drop the expectations. You're an amateur. You're a casual. Right? You're someone learning the game. You're in your learning journey. You're in your league journey. It's take baby steps. Okay? You're going to only climb with something like a 52 to 55% win rate. As long as you don't self-sabotage and you follow that process, you're going to climb, but you got to follow it. But you're self-sabotaging. And the more you want it, the harder it's going to be in a way. A lot of people say that. With everything. The more you want it, sometimes you over-push, you're overthinking it. Just got to take your time, be patient. It's a life lesson as well for everyone and everything. Good things take time.
Speaking from my own experience, it wasn't, obviously I was challenger in season 3 back in 2013, season 4, season 1, back in my day. When I took my extended break from the game because I was running dials, Curtis was the coach of the team. Coming back, the expectation was if I put in effort again, I will get to challenger. And I had that toxic expectation. I was stuck in Diamond for 2 years.
Do you want to be like Nathan and stuck in Diamond for 2 years?
Well, let's say not stuck in Diamond. Let's say,
Him stuck in Plat for 2 years.
Wherever you are,
wherever
it
you
think,
is.
you know? And it wasn't until I embraced my level of skill and not until I was present. I actually enjoy. It's crazy. I remember distinctly this switch of enjoying the game. It was like a period of like 2-3 days where it's like, I tried everything, right? I went down to things. I went down to like Platinum 1. Okay. My MMR on my account was gone. This is my Nathan Mon account. And I literally was like, okay, I'm just going to embrace it. I told everyone. I told even my Soul 2 at the time when Soul 2 was really early days. All right, guys, I'm just a Platinum 1 player. I had some other Platinum players. We had some high elo players than me in Soul 2 at that time. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to embrace it and just bring it back to basics. And the game was so fun compared to the couple of days before of the toxic expectation. I just threw it all away. I was like, fuck it. Like this is the other thing that I said to myself as well. If I'm happy, I'll be happy if like I put in effort and I'm still, let's say I get to Diamond 4. I'm just a Diamond 4 level player and that's what my effort have shown. But more often than not, when you say that, you get more, you're like, you know, the pressure's off. I'm Diamond 4 and it's like, oh, wow, now I'm Diamond 3. Oh, now I'm done. I didn't expect that. I was expecting just to be Diamond 4. How funny is it? Remember at the beginning of the season, we set expectations, right? The expectations for me at the beginning of the season, I was like, I'll be happy with just being like a 400 LP player, right? That's just going to be just my level of skill based on my champion pool and the way I play the game. Look at me now. I've been up to 750 LP. I'm challenger. You know, I've been hovering around 600, 700 LP for the last, 2-3 months now, right? Obviously, you know, there's this next level to get to, but more often than not, when those expectations are gone, you know, as you said, it's just you just enjoy the process. It goes back to the process and it's just fun. And now, again, I think that the expectation now is because we talked about in the last episode, now that I'm ranked 20, it's like rank 1's in reach, you know, or top 10's in reach, or 800, 900 LP's in reach. The expectations now get in on, and now it doesn't become about just accepting my level of play and where I'm at and then getting excited about the improvement.
And it's hard to accept where you're at though. Your ego doesn't want to let you do that. Your ego's not going to let you do that. A little side note to add on to this one about ego, just while we're on the topic of ego. Following our 2-week, we had a 2-week challenge in the MLA, like I said, about registering every game as either a good win, good loss, bad loss. what I noticed was that a lot of people wanted to note that they wanted to note down their games as bad wins or bad losses to protect their ego.
That's
because
good.
it's easy
Yeah.
to label something to say, oh, I just wasn't putting in that wasn't my max effort. That wasn't my level of play. I was capable of more. When in reality, no, you actually never knew this situation. That's actually your level of play. You were always going to make this mistake. And it just made me realize these are all people in the MLA that have expectations larger, or they're actually delusional about what they're capable of. But when you accept that this is a mistake that I'm always going to make, it's freeing.
It is.
Like, it's okay to make a mistake in a weird way. It's not okay, but it is okay. It's okay to make a mistake if you don't know what you don't know.
You can't expect people expecting to be challenger players as like platinum.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
Baby steps.
And this guy, what's his name again? Acra.
Yep.
You know, likely he has these expectations of him playing at, you know, this unrealistic level, and he can't accept reality. Won't let his ego won't let him accept that he's a plat one player right now, and that he needs to take baby steps to become a D4 level, a D4 player, and then we'll take baby steps to get a little bit more. It might suck, dude. Your friends are gonna take the piss out of you. Okay. Well, let's see let's see who's higher elo in the next year or two.
Thinking the long term again versus the
And
short
you can
term.
take the piss out of them later. Use that as motivation. I always say that friends are a very powerful tool for motivation. Remember in high school, like with us, it's a powerful motivator. I remember with my friend Ben from school, and then like we were having like, you know, I was gold. I was kind of like an MMR, like 1600, 15, 1650.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's cool to like,
Yeah.
I love that. I love it's like a
competition.
Yeah, competition with friends. It's great. It's actually one of the biggest motivating factors for a lot of even pro players back in the day. They would say, I had a friendship group. I wanted to be the best in my friendship group. It's great.
Yeah, that was me when I got off my World of Warcraft Guild Wars 2 PvP stuff, because you were playing at that time. And you were Diamond 1 on NA, right? And then I literally said, I was like, God, like Curtis is an FPS guy. Like, these are my type of games, you know. Like, what is he doing? Like, if he can get this, like, I would just. And that actually gave me the confidence.
Yeah,
I reckon. Or maybe if you didn't get Diamond 1, I wouldn't have got this challenge as quickly as I did.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to say.
Because it like unleashed. I like knew it's like, if Curtis could do it.
Yeah, because you didn't think of me highly at that point.
No, that's true. Maybe he thinks of his friends as like gods at the game.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like let's say if because Ben was good at Dota, if I had gone into Dota, I'll be intimidated by his skill. It'll be different.
That's right. But whereas you thought I was a lowly FPS player.
Yeah, that's right.
That could only play Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So how could I be good at League?
That's right.
It didn't make sense to you.
It was different. I think it's probably different than this situation, but it's funny to talk about that story.
I want to actually bring up that story that I also really resonated with the again, I'm going to bring up my role model, that Eric Bugenhagen guy, and he spoke about this video. He made this, like, he does these mindset videos, and one of these mindsets he spoke about was he went to like a local gym. So this guy's a really, really strong guy, and he went to like a local gym, and then and he usually works out at home, this guy, and he went to a gym for once, and he saw like all these people working out, and they're all doing similar weights. Like, they're all doing like on the bench press, like a pretty like average weight. And like he came in because he's like being able to be objective because he's been working out by himself. Like, he's not influenced by anyone. It's just him in his own like garage essentially. And then he sees this and he's like, it's actually really scary sometimes when you're around other people because you think that that's what you're capable of. That's just it. And what people's mindset is when it comes to lifting, I actually notice this in League as well, it's that you're either, this is what I am, me and my friends are like this is kind of what we are capable of, like maybe we can only do one plate on the bench press. And then if anyone doesn't do this and anyone does higher than this, they're just built different. They're just genetic freaks. They're on like performance enhancing drugs or something. In League, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I'm either a noob that can only do this, or I'm just, that guy's just mega talented. There's a challenge, but he's just a freak. He's just, he's just built different. And I feel like sometimes, if you are surrounding yourself with a lot of people that have that kind of fixed mindset and you're all hovering on a similar rank, it can be in a way limiting. If your friendship group, everyone's low elo, it's actually limiting because you don't believe.
Really good results for you is like, let's say for your friends around gold 4, silver 1, great results for your gold one.
Yeah, gold one, and everyone thinks you're like the beast, and you feel like a beast, and you justify that you think your rank is actually really good, and you think you're trying your best. You think that gold one is your best effort, but in reality, if all of your friends were like D4 and you're gold one, you'd try way harder, and you probably make it to like a higher rank. And it's just your perspective, it's your mindset towards it. You think it's similar to what you're saying before, how on the server at the moment in O's, you're the only Rek'Sai player, and because no Rek'Sai player is higher than you, you don't even know if it's like possible. But I guarantee you, imagine if there was like a 1k LP Rek'Sai one trick in O's right now. It would completely change your perspective, and I'm sure that you would be higher ranked than you are right now. Even if you didn't watch their VODs, even if you just like knew that it was possible. It's fascinating stuff. The mindset, it's fucking powerful, man. Some powerful shit. And that's what happened at school with me and you. I was D1, and you're like, that's possible. If that's possible, and you look down at me because you didn't respect me as a league player, I should be way above that. And you killed it. You did. You had insane confidence. You played with confidence. That came out of nowhere, really. It didn't make sense for you to play with confidence.
No. Just blind confidence.
Crazy shit, man.
I actually remember one of our first episodes, we talked about how friends could be bad and good, and we said that if they're too high of an elo range, it gets.
That's exactly what this analogy is, or this story. If they're too high, it's like they're just built different. They're like a genetic freak. They need to be higher ideally, but not so high that it's like unrealistic. Because imagine, let's say for whatever reason, when we were friends in high school, I was like insanely high. Like for some reason on NA, like in season 3, I was like top 10. That would be like intimidating, wouldn't it?
It would,
You'd be like, oh shit, this guy's that's another level.
It's different, yeah.
And then maybe you've been demoralized.
They're probably not still again because you're the FPS guy.
No, but you can't think like that because you don't know what that would feel like at the time.
I couldn't know.
Because it's so unrealistic.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So hopefully this gives them a bit to think about. A lot there to unpack.
All right, next question here is from Yasha. The title of this email is, how do I help my friend get out of his toxic mindset? Hi, Nathan and Curtis. My name is Yasha, and I want to start off by saying I love everything about your podcast. It's such a breath of fresh air compared to the majority of the League community streamers. Now, on to the problem I'm having. I have a friend who I duo with occasionally in around Platinum 4. When we duo, I play top and he plays jungle. Typically what will happen is he clears bot to top and instantly ganks top regardless of wave state, top matchup, location of the enemy jungler, whether or not the brush is warded, and more. When the play goes bad, which it often does, he gets extremely tilted and starts looking for something or someone to blame and continues to spiral downwards, making worse and worse plays. He often says things like, I'm in loser's queue, why is my team always bad? I want to bring him out of the world of delusion and into the world of accountability and improvement. How can I go about this in a way that is healthy for him and doesn't bruise his ego? He has the drive and motivation to climb, but his mentality is really holding him back. Duo queue.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that he's the top laner, right?
This guy's riding it, is the top laner,
Yeah,
right?
he says, I have a friend who I duo with occasionally. When we duo, I play top and he plays jungle.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's pathing towards top every game? This is why I hate duo, you know?
Well, look, I think that this ties into like how close you are with this guy. You know, I think that there's a level between, like, if this guy is like barely a friend, if he's just kind of an acquaintance, he's someone you barely talk to, it's quite hard to have this tough conversation. But if he's someone that you care about, he's like a close friend, then, you know, sit down, or in your case, Discord, I'm assuming.
That's usually what the young kids use these days, Curtis.
These whippersnappers. And look, say, man, you know, obviously what we're doing is not working, or what you're doing is not working. And I have a few ideas. Why don't we sit together and share my screen, and let's actually go over a few of your past VODs. Let's actually just skim over the first 5-6 minutes of your games, until the first death. Let's just take a look. Let's spend half an hour, 40 minutes going over, ideally, point of view VODs. I'm assuming he uses Metal TV or Outplayed, whatever the hell that people use. And let's sit down. Let's take a look. And, you know, this way, you can start to talk about things in a way that doesn't necessarily, like, if you don't want to kind of go balls to the wall, you don't need to say, this is bad, don't do that. Say, okay, so ask questions like, what do you think about this gank? Why do you think this would work?
That approach wouldn't work because he'll be way too defensive.
Okay, start with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he's a really motivated guy to improve. Let's say, what do you guys think? What do you think about this? What about this gank? What made you think this would work? Do you think this would work? How well, just start to ask high quality questions.
Good. You can't go the balls to the wall because it's too defensive.
He'll be too defensive. You can't just say this is objective bad. You shouldn't even be going here because he'll shut off.
That's right.
So start to just, the first few VODs, just ask high quality questions and ask things like, so if we didn't gank this, what would you have done otherwise? And then what would have happened? Or do you think you could have actually pathed top to bot this game because they're actually very heavy trading? Start to expand because this guy, hopefully, this top lane has a bit more of a sophisticated understanding of the game, and start to ask him good quality questions, get him thinking about alternatives to ganking. Think about what happens if you were to do a full clear. Talk to him about wave states. Oh, if I think here, I could have managed a wave like this. Like, you kind of take too much responsibility in a way. Like, say, oh yeah, I could have actually told you to gank on this next wave because then the wave would be like this and then that would actually be a gank. Or I should have told you not to gank topside here because this is not gankable. It's better for you to go bot side or mid or even just full clear. And start to maybe take a lot of responsibility, and then slowly, incrementally, you can say, okay, I think it's best we don't do this, or I recommend you maybe do that, or maybe let's take a look at what some other people do. Watch some high elo VODs of people playing that champ in other situations. What does a good gank with that champ look like? Watch some of Nathan's content. Nathan has so much amazing content about first clears, your first jungle clear. He's got guides on particular champs, but there's a lot of great content there. And then that way, he'll find the answers himself slowly, and you just got to guide him. Your goal is that you just want to guide him in that direction. What do you think, Nathan?
I think that's good advice. I also think I always get really, really interested when people say he has the drive and motivation to climb, but his mentality is holding him back. It's all most of the time, my experience is people are just lying to themselves.
That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
If you had a gun to your head, right, and you really wanted to figure out how to do something. Humans are capable of a lot of stuff if they're in the desperation phase. People are very comfortable in League of Legends. They won't ever say it, but they actually enjoy the whole losers queue thing.
Yep.
It's very comfortable. It's actually fun. It's fun.
It's
actually enjoyable.
You can meme around. You can have fun.
You meme around, have fun.
Abuse some innocent people in solo queue.
Saying it's other people's. It's a very comfort.
It's powerful. It's a powerful position, I think.
Yeah.
People feel more powerful in that situation.
Because you're above.
Yeah, they're above everyone, looking down. Look at all these idiots ruining my games. It's a powerful position.
But really, it's a victim mindset, isn't it?
It feels powerful, but it's a weak position. And to be truly powerful, you have to be vulnerable. And then you become powerful over time by allowing yourself to become vulnerable and learning. So it's short-term vulnerability for long-term strength versus short-term power for long-term weakness.
That's right. That's a well way of putting it. So, that's the first line that always sticks out to me when people say, it's like, do you really?
We've worked with clients that really care.
Yeah, I know what that looks like.
We have them and they are insanely curious. They detach their ego. They just want to know the truth. They don't give a shit how bad they look. They don't care about how embarrassed they might be. They don't care about what their friends might say. They just want the goddamn truth. Those are very different clients than the ones that we can infer based off this email.
That's right. Recommend him watch my 3-hour interview with Ishan, who went from gold to master in a year. That's the questions, the way he thought about it, his level, his vulnerability, and just realizing how much he had to work on the game and what his mindset was before. That's a great example of showing what someone that looks like they actually care and want to improve. That's what that looks like.
I want to say one last thing on this one. Whatever you're doing is not working. That's objectively true, right? Because otherwise you'd be climbing. So let's just lay that out there. Whatever you're doing is not working. So rather than being delusional, pretending that you know your shit, just you don't. You don't know what you're talking about.
Curtis, people can't get that through, dude.
But that's the truth. Just adopt the mentality.
You don't want to handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Just as an experiment, though.
Yeah.
Just pretend that you know jack shit. Pretend that you actually have no idea what you're talking about and you just want to just be super curious and open-minded, like try that and see where it leads you.
Just assume everything you say is wrong.
Or assume that not necessarily that everything is wrong, but that not everything is right. It could be right, but like make sure you really thoroughly test shit before you know it's right. Remember, even an idiot can be right once. Okay? Just through pure statistics. You can do the wrong play, be in the wrong place, ruin the game for your team sometimes, and still win a game. So rather than hyping yourself up, thinking you're the world's greatest player after winning one game that way or 2 games that way, what's happening to the majority? You're losing, numbnut. You're going down. You're not going anywhere. Right? I know it's very aggressive, but like, wake up.
So remember, this is the guy trying to. I don't think he can say this to his friend.
Yeah.
this is the advice for that guy.
So this is what I want. I'm trying to educate this guy.
Yeah.
How I feel about this guy,
That's
so that he
right.
can say that in a PG manner.
Yeah. You have to like package up what Curtis is
Just
saying.
package up what I said. I started nice. I just got angry.
Because we get emotional about this stuff.
Oh, dude, it's just because
Because you know why we get so emotional about this stuff is because these people are ruining the experience for other people.
yes, they're ruining it for everyone
Which is
else.
ruining the game that we love.
Yes.
That's why we're hard about it. You know, we people, jab at us, sometimes we go too hard on people on like the Reddit reacts or, on certain people, but we do it because we care about the game. We respect the craft.
the game, and we know what positive impact the game can have in people's lives.
And it pains us to see it get pissed away.
It's being the game's just. This
being
guy's taking a
abused.
shit on the game.
Yes.
He's taking a giant shit on the game, and he's ruining it for other people. And then he has his friendship group, and he's spreading this knowledge to all his friends. And then they have a poor relationship with the game, and we're like 2 little people. Like I guess I imagine me and you, Nathan. We're in front of this giant pile of shit, and we're just like shoveling it, like bit by bit, like undoing it. But there's like 2 of us, and there's like all these people fucking taking giant
And there's
shits.
more
And there's
just
more
thrown
coming
on us
on.
every time.
And then we're just trying to shovel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like if we don't need to work harder. We need to stop the shit happening in the first place.
Yes. That's a good analogy. If
If
it's not thrown out, we don't need to do any work. We can just pack in the podcast. We're done.
Exactly. Do you think I want to sit here for 2 hours with Nathan every day?
Every day and he answer the same questions all the time. Talk about the same narratives.
Spread the word.
That's right. Good work, Curtis. All right, we'll end with the last one. I don't think this is a question, but this is a helpful intensity quote from Denton. Title of his email is his name's not Denton. Hey guys, Inertia here. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm a long-time BBC listener, enjoyer that received advice as an ADC a while back, and shocker, it worked. There we go. At least our advice mailbag is helping at least one person. Congrats on 100 episodes. I noticed you guys talking recently about intensity, more specifically the topic of winning a game for 10-15 minutes and then hands off the keyboard mindset, allowing the enemy team to come back. It resonates with me, and it opened my eyes when you guys mentioned that everything in life is designed in this way. How you can do everything right, but one lapse causes the game to swing to the opposing team. And I did not realize this until the particular episode of the podcast where you mentioned it. It has helped me improve mentally in my personal life narratives, and assuredly ranked improvement will follow. I just wanted to say thank you for that nugget of mindfulness, truth, and thanks for the BBC. I want to leave you with 2 quotes that my head football coach used to say in high school, and I'm sure other coaches in other sports realms have said something similar. The quotes read, "Finish the drill. Run through the end zone, not to the end zone."
Love that one. That's a great one.
Don't be the person that race that slows down at the finish line. I will have this in the back of my head now whenever I play my blocks. I'm sure you can extrapolate what that means and relate it to league games and urge to start slacking after winning early game phases. Keep up the good work. Much love.
I love like those those coach quotes. There's some really, they get me excited, those coach quotes, It's a great one. Because I spend years thinking about them, Like we've done the podcast for like 2 years, and we're like complaining about shit. But these football coaches, especially if like you're like, you know, coaching in high school or something, they've probably seen the same problems, the same mistakes. They've had years to refine their quotes and how to communicate beautifully.
They're like 40 years or something.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
Run through the end zone, not run through the end zone, like completely to the end, not to the end zone.
Exactly.
There's a big difference in football. Like you're like, oh, I just
want to get there.
Smash through it. You know?
It reminds me of that story. Remember we watched that Kobe Bryant motivational video, and he tells that story about he was like doing some like boot camp with kids in China, and then like they were doing some drill, and then the kid was just off the line, like he didn't go to the end, and he stopped the whole thing, and like told this kid like, okay, you got to do like 20 more. And he made an example out of this kid because he got like 98% of the way, but he just didn't put his toe over the line. And then Kobe Bryant was like, it's like a life lesson. If you're going to go
all the way.
Go all the way. Like you're just shortchanging yourself, you know? Like you're only missing out on, you're only lowering the value you're going to get from the exercise. Like why are you going to go all the way and not go to the end? Right? And that stuck with me, that story. It's like, it's some powerful shit. You're only shortchanging yourself. If you're going to do it, do it. I feel like I have that mentality. I've adopted that mentality in the gym, 100%. I feel like I'm actually better in the gym than I am sometimes in solo queue. Because like I feel it's easier when you're going to a place physically.
Yeah, you're there.
You're like putting the effort. It's like, okay, I have to like change my clothes, pack my bag, go to the gym. Like do the whole.
You literally
stretch.
think that during the set, it's like,
so
why would I not
here.
go hard? Why would I not? You know, especially we only do it 3 times a week as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. Like push yourself. Like I'm making all the effort, but it's harder in solo queue because you're in the comfort of your own home. It's like it's just there. I can do it in my bloody underwear. You know, like
I can always just alt tab.
I can alt tab. I can listen to music.
There's so many distractions.
Like I don't. It's so easy to not. It's so easy to not put full intensity. There's every reason not to in a way.
That's why we love League. It's the ultimate challenge.
It's brutal. It's mentally
brutal, absolutely
brutal. But thank you,
Inertia.
All
right, that's it for today's Mailbag episode. We'll see you next time.